Sitting here today, you realize that you are testifying against not only co-defendants, but family members.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
I have a number of reasons.
What are they?
As Jacksonville rapper Hakeem Robinson, whose artist name is KSOO, was found guilty Thursday of first-degree murder in the 2020 shooting death of 23-year-old Charles McCormick Jr. If I commit a crime and I do something of my own volition, I'm expecting to get turned in. We were raised with morals, we were raised with class, we were raised with dignity, and we were raised with respect. If you've ever been put in an impossible situation, you know on one hand, if you tell the truth, you're likely to get ridiculed, called names, and possibly disowned by your family. But if you lie, your life is in danger and you may not see your kids ever again. Which one do you choose? The red pill or the blue pill? This is the case for Jacksonville rapper KSOO's father. KSOO's father is no saint. He raised his kids to be gangsters. He was a gangster himself, but now the chickens have come home to roost. This long-head scound has took the stand against his son and has told the truth. Now let's get into this story because this is incredibly interesting. I'm going to read an article first and then we're going to get into some of his testimony on the reasons why he testified against his son. I love this because he's taking accountability for his actions, but I'm going to refrain from giving my opinion until the end of the video. It says Jacksonville rapper Hakeem Robinson, whose artist name is KSOO, was found guilty Thursday of first-degree murder in the 2020 shooting death of 23-year-old Charles McCormick Jr. The verdict reached after just over 3 hours of deliberation, followed Thursday's morning's guilty verdict for co-defendant Leroy Whitaker Jr., who's also Robinson's cousin. 2 juries were seated for the trial because of the 2 defendants. They each heard 7 days of testimony before separately closing arguments were presented by the defense attorneys. Then prosecution rebutted and the judge's instructions before deliberation began. Both men were accused in McCormick's shooting death at an Arlington shopping center about 11 a.m. on January 15, 2020. It was witnessed by an off-duty police officer who said the gunman stood over the victim and shot him with a rifle before fleeing in a Nissan. The officer chased the car until it crashed nearby and 3 people inside ran away. 2 ran into a house and held the homeowner hostage before calling someone to get them, police said. A sentencing date for both men will be set September 8th. With this trial over, Robinson will face a separate murder trial for the 2019 shooting of a 16-year-old boy. Now, we're going to get into some of his testimony his father spoke about because I think it is interesting. No, it's imperative that we hear this and his reasons why he's talking and giving testimony on his son.
Sitting here today, you realize that you are testifying against not only co-defendants, but family members.
Yes.
Why are you doing that?
I have a number of reasons.
What are they?
I got some health issues. I got 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old daughter. And, when my 8-year-old daughter asked me when I'm gonna come take her to the daddy-daughter dance.
Objection, hearsay relevance.
Overruled.
You can answer.
When she asked me over each year when I'm gonna come take her there, and I keep letting her down. Then my 6-year-old son, when he asked me if I'm gonna come to his football games, come take him fishing. My other 6-year-old, he asked me when I'm gonna come see him. When he begging me, please come see me, daddy. He wanna teach me how to play the game, but he don't know where I'm at. Things like that. My health issues.
What health issues do you have?
I have diabetic. I'm diabetic. I'm on high blood pressure. I suffer from congestive heart failure. I just found out June 25th that my kidneys is failing rapidly.
Has becoming a witness in this case negatively impacted your relationship with your entire family?
Well, I really don't have no more relationship with my family, besides one person.
So if part of your family completely cut you out.
Yeah.
When people know that you're cooperating, does that make it easier or harder for you when you're incarcerated?
Well, it make it harder for me.
What about when you get out?
Extremely harder.
Is cooperating in this case something that is easy for you to do?
No, this is the most hardest decision I've had to make in my life.
The day that Charles McCormick was murdered on January 15, 2020, does that specific day hold any significance for you and your family?
Yes.
And why is that date significant in your mind?
It's the date that my son got killed.
Who was your son that got killed?
Willie Addison.
Is he your biological child?
No.
Do you still consider him to be your son?
Yes, I consider him to be my son.
Did Willie Addison have a nickname?
Yes.
What was that?
Lil Willie, Boss Goon.
I'm going to stop it right there. Let's talk about this. Let's have the conversation. Because I see a lot of people online saying that they would never turn their son in regardless of the crime that they committed. And I'd have to vehemently disagree. Here's the reason why. The way my father raised me is that there's always consequences for your actions. It is not his responsibility to try to cover up for my bad behavior. If I commit a crime and I do something of my own volition, I'm expecting to get turned in. I'm expecting to face the consequences to my action because that's just how he raised me. We were raised with morals, we were raised with class, we were raised with dignity, and we were raised with respect. Now, in this situation, when you have somebody like KSOO's father, who was raised in the streets and raised his son in the streets, and they were trying to follow some code of no snitching, get back, or whatever the case may be, you can see how that has come home to roost. The chickens have come home to roost. Now, this long-haired scoundrel right here, he didn't do anything that I wouldn't do. He did zero wrong. And I would do the same thing. And I surmise that my father would do the same thing. Actually, I would expect him to do the same thing because you know what? If I commit a crime, more than likely, he probably failed as a father. More than likely, I went down the wrong path. More than likely, I need to atone for my actions. And the way I do that is by going into the prison system, doing my time, getting out, and then trying to fix my image or trying to fix my family name. The fact that we have people online making excuses for these actions, when we know the courts are not in our favor, when we know we're not going to get any leniency, when we know that just by being there or having the presence of mind or answering that phone call or doing what this father did for his son is going to get us tied up, it forces us to be in a bad position when we could not have been there in the first place. Let's just stop for a second. Let's think about this. If his son was raised differently, would he be in that position? Maybe. It's a possibility. We don't know because he wasn't raised differently. He was raised in the streets. He was raised to do whatever he wanted. He was not brought up with any code or conduct to how to behave and how to act when he's in a public setting. And it shows right here. KSOO is more than likely going to get prison time for the rest of his life. His father, like you heard him, he has failing health. He has 2 6-year-olds and an 8-year-old. He has another family altogether. Why would he put his life and his children's life in jeopardy for a son who's already done for? Why would he do that? No respectable child is going to put their father in that position to make them make a decision like this. Again, I said it before, I'm going to say it again. The courts are not in our favor, so why even put yourself in a position to have to need help from a lawyer, from a judge, to get off? Why commit a crime? Why do things that's going to juxtapose the courts to mistreat you? Because, again, from early days, the court wasn't established. The court was not established to be in favor for us. I know it's hard to do the right thing. I know it is. I know it's hard to get a job and stay on the straight and narrow and do things that everybody else is not doing. But at some point in time, you got to look at history. We have to look at revisionist history and say that, man, if I do something like this, the likelihood that I'm going to be out, see my family, see my friends, see my loved one is 0 to none. Slim to none, and Slim just died. Sentencing is September 8th. I think he's going to get about 40 to 60 years in prison. Then he has another court date on top of that as well for another murder that he committed. This is the life of the streets. This is the life that you have to live when you don't have professionalism, class, decorum, when you're not focused on money, when you're not focused on increasing your skills, increasing your worth, so that way you can eventually take care of a family if that's what you want. We have to bring the conversation back to the most basic of basics, because most people don't understand at all the importance of doing this. That kid could have been the one to say, you know what, I'm going to get my act together, I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to take this career that I have, this rap career that I have, and I'm going to take it to the next level, and I'm going to continue to create music. No, he wanted to actually live what he was rapping about, and this is the result. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Am I off? I know I'm not off, but let me know your thoughts on the situation. Was his father wrong for looking out for himself? I know I would have done the same thing, but let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna holler at you guys later. Peace.